Outcasted OC. Viewer discretion is advised. Incoming transmission in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hey everybody, it's Courtney here from the Outcasted OC podcast and welcome to the Monday Night Raw recap. As you guys know, I don't like to spend too much time with an introduction. There's a lot that happened on Monday Night Raw this week that is leading into WrestleMania season and is also leading into Royal Rumble season. So let's not waste any time with any more talking about the introduction. Let's jump straight into it. So Monday Night Raw this week actually kicked off with a Martin Luther King Jr. segment, obviously talking about his dream that he had. This didn't really resonate with me very much because I am not American, and I'm not trying to say that to offend people. I'm just saying from an international viewer perspective, it doesn't really resonate as well with me. It is Martin Luther King Day. I actually had to look up why that segment was shown, and that's just because we don't celebrate that holiday where I'm from. So I completely understand that they obviously wanted to celebrate that, and that's totally cool with me. After this, we see two backstage segments. So we see Jinder Mahal and Seth Rollins arriving to the arena. This is because their match that they are having for the World Heavyweight Championship is going to be main eventing. There is a super cute moment where Seth Rollins is walking backstage and he has his daughter Rue with him. She's just made her Monday Night Raw debut. I honestly was so excited when I saw this because the fact that she was on WWE television is just like, she is the youngest member of the main roster. I'm so excited for her NXT call up. Like, I shouldn't be joking about this kind of thing, but like, it was very cute. I know that Seth and Becky have been quite private about Rue and her upbringing for a long time, and now they're finally starting to bring her into the limelight a little bit. She's being shown in pictures on both of their Instagrams, and obviously she's been shown on WWE television, so I loved that moment. I thought it was super cute and super sweet. After this, we then cut straight into the ring and Cody Rhodes is making his way out to the ring to cut a promo. I did notice that the staging in WWE Monday Night Raw this week was a lot different from what we've normally seen. I don't know if that was just a stadium setup that they had the event in arena-wise, or if that's their setup for the staging going forward. I really liked it. It was a nice change of what we've seen. Going against what we normally have, I'm always down for change when it's visual. I feel like it really adds a different element of surprise and a different element of presentation, so I really enjoyed seeing that. So Cody Rhodes does his normal thing, comes out to the ring and asks, what do you want to talk about? And he said, we could talk about the reason that I am back. And he mentions that the Royal Rumble is around the corner and he is not going to stop. But before he gets a chance to get the sentence out, Drew McIntyre makes his way out to the ring and hops into the ring with Cody Rhodes. So Drew McIntyre comes out to interrupt Cody Rhodes' promo, and he starts off by saying, so Cody, like, what do you want to talk about? So it's nice to see that Drew McIntyre is playing into the inside joke that Cody never knows what he wants to talk about before he starts cutting a promo on Monday Night Raw. And he says, you know, we haven't actually had a chance to properly catch up since you've returned to WWE since your hiatus. And he mentions that, you know, they both have grown up in WWE, they've both gone their separate ways and done different things, and he wants to say that he is proud of Cody. He's proud of how far they've both come, and he did mention that you might have to research this, but they were actually in a tag team together back in the day. And he said that, you know, we both had to leave WWE to gain some perspective to be able to grow and grow better as wrestlers. The last match that Drew McIntyre had on the independent circuit before he made his way back to WWE was actually with Cody Rhodes. And he looked at Cody and he was like, you are going to be a future world champion for sure, and that you are going to be the first member of your family to be able to hold and raise that title. And he was like, you know, there's all this talk about the Rumble and finishing the story. You will get a chance to finish your story, but not before I finish mine. So then Cody chimes on in and asks, well, you know, is that so? And he mentions that both of them have actually declared for the Rumble and said that you could win, referring to Drew McIntyre. And he said, you know, Jey Uso could win, CM Punk could win, you know, it's not happening. And he mentions that you can't count people out. So there could be anybody that could come into the Royal Rumble this year and win it, you know? Like, it's not just a cut and dry. Like, I know that a lot of people are saying it could be one person, it could be another. But the way that WWE is setting up the storylines, especially going into Royal Rumble, like, Royal Rumble's next week. And we've heard from so many people that could actually do with the storyline of winning the Rumble to help finish their story. You know, we've heard from Jay, we've heard from Drew, from CM Punk, from Cody, we've heard from a whole bunch of people. So it's really interesting that Cody referenced this. And Drew was like, look, let me just give you some advice that's really helped me along the way. He's like, ditch the suit, ditch the political way of your speaking, you know, you're trying to appeal to the masses, blah, blah, blah. And just references, and he's just like, look, just be yourself. And he's like, I've had to, you know, realize that I can't try and appeal to everybody. I just need to be who I am. And he said, be the real Cody. Cody doesn't take this very well. He says, well, you know, if you are talking about wanting to step up, and he inches closer to Drew McIntyre, and he says, this is not an act. And he goes, this is what I love. I come out to the ring and I smile because this is what I love. I said, I've made opportunities for myself, you know, and I'm thankful for getting this second chance, and I'm thankful for every opportunity that I get. But you just come out here and you sit here and you complain. And Drew was like, excuse me? And he says, well, why did you even bring Jey Uso back? You know, like, you know what kind of stuff he can cause because of what he's done in the past. Is it a case of you want your friends close and your enemies closer? You're endorsing CM Punk, and, you know, you're out here kissing people's bums, or I don't want to say the word, but you're out here kissing up to people, and, you know, you're in my way at the end of the day, and I'm functioning on a different level right now, and at WrestleMania, this story belongs to me. Cody takes what Drew McIntyre says and shoves a middle finger in his face, basically, and says, you know, it's always if that you are living with grievances and, you know, you're talking about all this stuff but not actually realizing that it's directly happening from you. And he said, at the end of the day, I look out to the crowd and I look this way, and this is the reason why I'm finishing the story. Obviously referencing the WWE universe, referencing the crowd that's in the arena. He's saying that these guys are the reason that I'm finishing the story now. It's not all about Cody anymore. It's about everybody else now. He says, to finish his promo, he asks, you know, in our last match before we all came back to WWE, who actually won that match? And obviously that's kind of left as a little bit of a cliffhanger, because it seems as though Drew knows that Cody beat Drew before Drew went back to WWE. So full circle moment. I really like the storytelling aspect. I really like how in the last week or two, WWE has really played into a lot of the history that a lot of these wrestlers actually do have, whether it's in WWE or it's on the independent circuit, and is actually using this in the storytelling aspect for the Rumble, because sometimes Rumble comes around and you can pick one or two people out of the entire group that you could actually see winning, but I feel as though there is a lot more intention with this one. You're left to feel like there are a lot of people that could actually win the Royal Rumble based on the storylines they have going into it. I think it's really refreshing. I'm really enjoying the way that they're building them up. I'm so excited for Rumble, and I really enjoyed this promo segment. We cut to backstage, and R-Truth is selling bootleg Judgment Day merch. So he's got that t-shirt that has everyone's name on it and the little tape part that says "and R-Truth." Damian Priest rolls up and he's like, yo, what are you doing? Like, why are you out here selling Judgment Day merch and making a big scene of yourself? You know, the rest of the crew's not super happy that you're doing that. And Truth is like, look, man, I'm making so much money from this. Like, I'm buying it cheaper and I'm selling it cheaper than retail. If you know supply and demand, you'll know how that works. And it's like, look, I just don't really know, like, you should be doing this. And then there's a moment where R-Truth asks if Tom and Nick is okay. And he says he's asking if Nick specifically is okay because he can't find him on Facebook. So, I mean, I've been looking for Tom and Nick for the last week on social media and I can't seem to find them either, Truth. So you're not alone with that one. Damian Priest is like, look, at the end of the day, you can't be doing this. And Truth actually gives him like a pile of money. And Damian's like, what is this? And Truth is like, this is your cut. Like, I'm making a lot of money from this merch and everyone in Judgment Day is going to have a cut. So like, here is yours. And then Damian kind of warms up and he's like, oh, okay, fine. Like, it's okay. But just don't make a big scene out of it because the rest of the crew's not happy. And he starts talking about the tag match that they're going to be having tonight. And Damian finishes the promo backstage segment by just saying to Truth, don't tag in tonight. And then Truth winks and Truth does the whole like lifting his hair back and like winks. It was really funny. I really enjoyed it. I feel as though some people have really soured on the idea of Truth being a part of the Judgment Day. I 100% will ride for R-Truth being a part of the Judgment Day. You know, like Homo sapien, we have to think of a word that we can use for R-Truth because like R-Truth in the Judgment Day is fantastic. It's hilarious. I love him so much. I love him for the comedic aspect. Honestly, he is just a national treasure. I loved that segment that they had last week, the vignette of how his origin in the group started. And I really enjoyed this segment as well too. I feel like including R-Truth in the Judgment Day has been absolutely stellar work. Then we go on to our match between Judgment Day. So we have Dominic Mysterio and JD McDonough taking on DIY. Now this is because DIY are going for the WWE Tag Team Championships, so they have to get through JD and Dominic to be able to challenge the rest of Judgment Day in Finn Balor and Damian Priest. So straight away from the very beginning, Johnny Gargano is working JD on the ground, and then JD ends up working Gargano's arm. We see Gargano hit a really nice Hurricane Run. We end up seeing Dominic Mysterio sending Johnny Gargano flying through the ring ropes, and then Tommaso Ciampa ends up punching and launching at Dominic Mysterio. Then Tommaso Ciampa ends up colliding with JD McDonough, and we see DIY double team JD. Ciampa hits a really nice clothesline. Again, he's known for his clotheslines, and I will not complain when he hits a clothesline. Then we see Gargano hit the slingshot spear, and we see JD pull Tommaso Ciampa off the ring apron before he gets a chance to hit a hot tag for Gargano. After the commercial break, Tommaso Ciampa has kicked into that second gear, and he hits a double clothesline on both JD and Dominic Mysterio as well. See a really nice big back body drop and a DDT combo, and then we end up seeing a standing Spanish fly and moonsault combo coming in from JD McDonough. DIY hit the meat in the middle, and they end up coming away with the win. So it looks like we are going to be getting DIY versus the Judgment Day for those tag titles soon. I feel as though doing it at Royal Rumble is a bit too soon, so maybe at Elimination Chamber. I mean, I'm not asking because I'm going to be there, I'm asking because I just want the match. I'd love to see DIY hold the tag team gold in 2024. I feel as though that is where we're going. We got to see Indy Hartwell and Candice LeRae are backstage talking to Adam Pearce about 2024 and how they want to make it their year. Then we see Chelsea Green and Piper Niven coming in, and they are asking Adam Pearce for another rematch because Chelsea feels as though that the ref did not count correctly and they lost the match because of the ref. Then we see that Adam is like, actually, I'm in the middle of talking to Indy and Candice about giving them opportunities in the future. You want a match? Why don't we make this happen tonight? So the match ends up getting made official, and then we see a video package for Indy and Candice talking about how they want to make 2024 their year. Then we get straight into that tag match. So it's a lot of these women in like the span of 15-20 minutes, but I'm not complaining. When women's wrestling is thriving, I'm thriving. So straight away from the very beginning in this match, Piper hits a really nice shoulder break onto Indy Hartwell. We see Candice LeRae hit a really nice step up enziguri as well too, and we end up seeing Indy and Candice double teaming, and Indy hits a really nice spine buster as well too. Indy ends up tagging Candice LeRae in, and they both double team in the match again, and then Chelsea ends up taking the pin, which I was a little bit disappointed in because it's like 2024 needs to be the year of Chelsea Green, and I'm not going to try and say it the way that Samantha Irvin does because I feel as though I'm going to butcher it, but it needs to be her year, and I'm just not happy that she's taking pins and L's in the beginning of 2024. I'm excited that they are finally getting the spotlight that they deserve. It was mentioned in their video package that, you know, their time on Monday Night Raw hasn't been that great as of late, so maybe they hit the reset button on them at the beginning of 2024. I'm really hoping they have, because they've got a lot to offer the women's division, whether it is in singles or in tag team capacity. We then see that Gunther has arrived, and he has Ludwig Kaiser with him. They are walking backstage, and they're going to be making their way out to the ring. We have a couple of backstage moments, so let's quickly go through those. We have a Nia Jax video package now, obviously showing all of her domination since she's come back to WWE, and she's basically saying that no one's going to beat her in the Rumble, which I have a feeling somebody will, but let's not tell Nia that because I don't want to spoil it for her because she might get a little bit upset. Then we cut to the Judgment Day Clubhouse, and Rhea is about to leave because she's obviously going to go ahead and address the division. She quickly sees Damian, she acknowledges Damian, and then she moves on her way. Finn Balor asks where Damian Priest was, but Damian said that he was talking to Adam Pearce about Drew McIntyre. Then JD McDonough's like, yo, when are we actually going to take care of our truth? Like, when are we going to beat down on him? Like, why aren't we doing it anytime soon? And Damian says, well, how about you just focus on what just happened, you know? DIY beat you guys, they're going to come for the tag titles next. And then Finn cuts and he's like, yo, are you actually defending truth in this situation? And then JD McDonough's like, well, what does he bring to the faction? And then Priest just like shows the pile of cash, and he's like, this is my cut, like he's out here selling merch, he's making us money, like this is what you get. And then Dom's like, have I got some, blah blah blah. And then JD's like, do I have any? And Damian's like, is your name on the shirt? And I was like, oh, we need JD's name on the shirt. He's a part of the Judgment Day. I don't like how he's a part of the Judgment Day and then you're out here making him think he's not a part of the... My heart can't take it. Stop. JD McDonough is in the Judgment Day, Priest. I'm talking to you right now. He's in the Judgment Day. You know, there's strength in numbers. You have him. Just Chill fam, chill. The long-awaited return of Gunther. I love Gunther. I'm so happy that he's back, but I'm so happy that he took some time away, gave me some time to miss him. He comes out and cuts a promo and he talks about how we are 2 weeks away from the Royal Rumble and he can smell a lot of desperation. He's been away and he's been observing, and there have been a lot of people arguing over the Royal Rumble and WrestleMania, and he mentioned how last year he came out as number 1 and he made it all the way till the end, and he lasted the longest out of any man who has ever been in the Royal Rumble. This year he wants to go ahead and win the Royal Rumble and actually main event WrestleMania, so he declares himself for the Royal Rumble. He says that I, as your longest reigning Intercontinental Champion, is going to be a part of the Rumble, and I would not be mad if we saw Gunther come in number 1 again and won the entire, I just need Gunther in that main event picture. I love him as IC champ, but I think it's about time. I really think it's about time. I think he's done what he's needed to do with that Intercontinental Championship, and I feel as though moving him up to that main event title picture, it's long overdue. But he references that he wants to focus on Ludwig, and they show the video recap of what he did to Kofi Kingston last week, and he said that, I'm really happy with what you did, you showed a lot of grit and a lot of confidence, and he gives him a hug. But then Xavier Woods comes out and says that, now him and Ludwig have a problem because you've now taken out Kofi Kingston, and he says that he's here to fight. Then Ludwig accepts the challenge, and we get straight into this match. We then get into the match between Ludwig and Xavier Woods, and straight away Ludwig is just channeling a different energy. He's going crazy. He's on another level. He clotheslines Xavier. Then we end up seeing Ludwig and Xavier exchanging blows between each other as well too, and then we end up seeing Ludwig taking out Xavier on the ring ropes as well too. That's a really nice insane sequence, which he actually finishes up with a running basement drop kick as well, and I'm like, why haven't we seen more of this Ludwig in the past couple of years? I feel the Ludwig we're getting now is a much heightened version of the much more toned down version of Ludwig we've been getting in the past. I need this more. I'm enjoying the fact that he's getting this solo spotlight. It's awesome to see. There's a moment where they're working outside of the ring and Woods ends up grabbing the computer chair and throws it onto Ludwig, and then the match ends up ending in a disqualification. There's a moment at the end of the match as well too where it looks like that Ludwig is trying to set up Xavier Woods for that same move that he had Kofi Kingston in last week, hanging over the ring steps and then giving him a drop kick. And we end up seeing him set it up, but then Xavier gets the better of it and he ends up lifting up the top of the ring steps and he tries to throw them at Ludwig, but Ludwig ends up escaping. A really quick backstage video segment for Bronson Reed. Now he talks about how there is a man that is holding a title in the WWE that will soon belong to him. I'm starting to connect the dots here, and I honestly think he is going to challenge for that IC title again. If Gunther was allowed to travel, and I don't know if he's allowed to or not, because the last update we got on his residency, his visa, basically said that he couldn't leave the States for a couple of months. I feel as though if they wanted to set this up, they could really do a match between Gunther and Bronson Reed at Elimination Chamber. I feel like that would be such a cool moment. But it looks as though Bronson Reed is going to be challenging for the IC title again, and to be honest, I'm not mad at it. So after the beatdown angle that we just had with Xavier Woods and Ludwig Kaiser, he is seen backstage and Byron Saxton is trying to get a word in with Xavier, and they're trying to talk about Kofi Kingston, but then we end up seeing Ludwig come in and just start beating down on Xavier Woods again. But then we see Jey Uso make the save, which I'm super happy to see that Jey Uso is trying to help Xavier, especially after the match that they had last week where Kofi was taken out before Jey even got a chance to get into the match. And then we ended up seeing a recap segment from last week from the interaction between Seth freaking Rollins and Jinder Mahal, obviously setting up that main event match for later on in the evening. We had a really super quick and unexpected match, but I'm not mad at this. It was Akira Tozawa taking on Ivar. Apparently there was something set up on social media or something. Unfortunately, I don't get to see a lot of these updates because I'm working a lot of the time when these updates are posted. So whenever something happens on Monday Night Raw, it's insanely a genuine reaction for me because I don't know that it's been planned. So when stuff like this pops up, I'm like, okay. So anyway, straight away, Ivar just big boots Akira Tozawa, but his quickness, Akira I'm talking about, it lends a hand in the match. We see a spinning slam and crossbody coming in from Akira Tozawa. There's a moment where Maxine tries to distract Ivar in the match as well. She gets up on the ring apron and tries to distract him. Then Akira takes the opportunity and hits a sunset flip powerbomb, and Akira Tozawa beats Ivar. Wait, what? Then Valhalla comes in and starts beating down on Maxine, and we end up seeing Ivar hitting a doomsault onto Akira. So Akira won the match, but it kind of looks like Ivar got the upper hand, potentially setting up another match. To be honest, I don't really need to see another one. I'm not on the Ivar train. I'm not on the Viking Raiders train. I'm not a huge fan. I just don't vibe with them. A couple more video segments from backstage, so let's quickly go through those. There's a moment where they're going through the Cody Rhodes and Drew McIntyre promo segment from earlier in the evening. Then we end up cutting to Michael Cole talking about how CM Punk posted something on his Instagram story that said, quote, "I think it's time you asked me what I want to talk about, Cody. Next week, question mark." So obviously they're now setting up a face-to-face segment the week leading into Royal Rumble between Cody Rhodes and CM Punk. I think that is going to be very spicy. There is so much that they can talk about, so I'm excited that we get to see that. Then we see Rhea Ripley is walking backstage. Now she's clearly on her way to go ahead and get out to the ring to cut a promo. Then we end up seeing that the Alpha Academy and the Creed brothers are supporting Maxine backstage. And Ivy comes in and she said that she's going to sort out Valhalla. But then we see that Chad is like, yeah, it's all good. I can sort out Ivar too. I kid you not, this segment left me emotionally torn. I'm just not ready for this moment. This is something I've wanted to see for a very, 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 very long time. And the fact that WWE is leaning into it and is potentially going to give this to me, I am just completely I need it now. But also give me time to emotionally process it. Rhea Ripley makes her way out to the ring and she starts off by saying that she is so sick and tired of people running their mouths thinking that this is their women's division. She says that it's my women's division and this is my title, and she holds the championship up. She says that if you win the Royal Rumble and you want to waste your opportunity at WrestleMania, go ahead and pick me. But if you don't want to waste the opportunity that you have, go ahead and pick somebody else. And then we hear Becky Lynch's music hit and I'm like, oh Lord Jesus, because we've seen them interact a few times backstage. We've seen the seeds being planted, but I didn't realize that Triple H had put some growth serum in these seeds and is like, yep, let's start this growth now, because the man is cooking with bloody propane. I kid you not. I didn't want to swear just then because I would have. He's cooking with high performing gas right now, because I'm not ready for this. I'm not ready for this feud. It's my dream feud. My dream feud on the main roster, and I'm not ready for it. So Becky Lynch comes out and she starts walking circles around Rhea Ripley and she says, "Here we stand. Two similar people who have come from foreign lands wanting to make it big and be the best that ever did it." She said, "There have been so many moments where we have been considered afterthoughts, but now we are both industry faces." And she said, "But there's a few differences." She said, one of us did go on to main event WrestleMania and the other didn't. One of us has the natural ability and the strength of a bear, whereas the other person has a heart of a lion and wants to do everything they can to make it. And she said that we are two of the best to ever do it in this industry. And she'd mentioned that she's had some thoughts in her head running through, some voices in her head as of late. And I was like, what's Randy doing in your head? She's like, I've had these thoughts in my head and I'm starting to think that you might be better than me. And I was like, no, don't say that. And she follows on by saying that she needs to prove that Rhea Ripley is not better than Becky Lynch. And she said that she is going to take that title of Rhea's and she is going to win the Royal Rumble, and she's going to point to the sign and it is going to be the man versus Mami at WrestleMania. And I'm like, look, I don't get paid till tomorrow, but take all of my money. Better yet, take all of my holiday pay. Take everything that I could ever earn for the rest of my life again if it means that I'm going to have this match. Just do it. Take my money. Because the man versus Mami, that headline, that will make money. That will be great. And then Rhea's like, interesting concept, interesting idea that you have there. But she goes, there is one person who wants you to win the Royal Rumble more than yourself. And she says, it's me. I'll see you at WrestleMania. And I'm like, we're getting it. So basically they just said it's going to be Rhea Ripley and Becky Lynch at WrestleMania confirmed. And I'm going to quote this video when that match gets confirmed, because I'm calling it now. It is happening. And there's nothing that you guys can say to try and convince me that it's not, because it's happening. I'll literally put a picture of me here after the segment, because I was just emotionally gone, spent. Triple H just really decided to just, put me through it emotionally. Thanks, Trips, for giving me a potential dream match, but also screw you for upsetting me to the point where you did. So, see, Jackie Redmond is backstage catching up with Seth freaking Rollins before his match against Jinder, and he welcomes everybody to Monday Night Raw, and Jackie's like, why do you want this match? And Seth Rollins is like, look, I've had a 200-day reign. I am stronger and better than I have ever been. I am a workhorse champion. And at the end of the day, for me and Jinder, this is not our first dance. This is the best and most deserving version of Jinder Mahal that we have seen. And he wouldn't have it any other way. And this is why the match is happening. The tag match between Awesome Truth and the Judgment Day. So that's The Miz and R-Truth taking on Finn Balor and Damian Priest. So there's a moment at the beginning of the match where R-Truth is trying to get his bearings together and he just drops this pile of cash out of his pocket, and then he starts trying to give it to Finn Balor. So he's basically just trying to buy his love and buy his attention and be like, yeah, I don't really want to fight you, but here's your cut. And Dominic's like, can I have my cut? And then Truth is like, yeah. And then JD's like, do I get a cut? And then Truth just go, but you're not even in Judgment Day. Oh, Truth. I'm so sorry for what you're about to go through. Because Finn stomps away on R-Truth, but then Truth is actually on another level in this match. I genuinely sometimes forget how good R-Truth is in the ring, because the amount of times that we see him is just not as much as we should. So he hits this really nice kick on Finn Balor, and then The Miz ends up coming in, and then Truth hits a really nice scissor kick on Finn Balor as well too. Truth attempts to kind of go for Damian Priest in the match. Damian Priest is facing away for a second, and then Truth tries to beat up on him, but then he ends up hesitating, and Finn Balor capitalizes on this by hitting a roll through. Truth had a really nice heel kick, but he ends up getting caught by Damian Priest and put in a South of Heaven to come away with the win. So Judgment Day won this match, as they should. I don't know if this ends up hindering Truth's position in the group. I'm not really too sure, but I feel as though Truth will try and find a way. I did forget to mention before, when they were making the entrance out to the ring, Miz came out by himself, and then the entirety of Judgment Day came out and Truth was walking behind. But the AI curated images up the top that have all the different logos and stuff? It had the picture of R-Truth with the live, laugh, love. I love R-Truth. We have a backstage segment of Jinder Mahal getting ready backstage before his match. Now, Jackie Redmond comes in and asks, how are you feeling? He said he's feeling a lot of mental clarity, and there has been a 7-year drought, which I'm starting to get the impression that Triple H really likes a 7-year drought when it comes to matches. It happened with Finn Balor and Seth Rollins, and it's happening with Jinder Mahal. I swear he must just have a countdown app on his phone that's it's 7 years since Finn Balor and Seth Rollins had a match. Why don't you know what I mean? He's got this down to a T. And he says that he's the most talked about star of 2024. Now, I'm not going to go into detail as to why, but if you know, you know. And you can thank Tony Khan for that, because we ain't hindering Jinder after this match. That his focus is singular, and he's obviously getting ready for that match. Then we see Shinsuke Nakamura is backstage and he cuts a promo, and basically the crux of what he says is that he is trying to tell Cody to keep an eye out for him, because there is an even more dangerous version of Shinsuke Nakamura entering the Royal Rumble. We're almost there. We're on the second to last match of the night, and to be honest, I don't really think this match needed to happen. It didn't do anything for me. I wrote no notes on any sequences or any moves that happened, purely because of how disappointed I was that this match was happening. It's a tag match with Tegan Nox and Natalya going up against Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark. Yes, I understand why the match happened, because they're trying to get contenders for a tag team opportunity. But I also don't understand why we're trying to rebuild Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark as single stars, and then we just go ahead and chuck them in a tag team. Why? I literally have written 2 sentences down, and I will share them with you from my notepad. Why are Zoe and Shayna in a team, and why do we always have to see Natalya? It angers me so much that they are trying to work Tegan Nox up on the main roster by having her up against someone going up with someone like Natalya. Literally makes no sense to me. Natalya does nothing for me at all. And I'm just annoyed that we are getting Zoe Stark and Shayna Baszler continually pushed together in a tag team. They are both individual fantastic wrestlers, and I want to see them individually thriving. I don't want to see them in a tag team. I get it. We're throwing teams together out of thin air, but why are we putting good singles wrestlers together? You are literally just taking opportunities away from them. And you're also undermining their ability to perform on their own. Like, Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark don't need to be wrestling against Natalya for me to know that they are much better than Natalya, and they don't deserve to be relegated to a B-level match with Natalya. I'm sorry that might sound harsh, but Natalya ain't selling any merch. She's not selling tickets. People don't want to see her. And I sound like I'm going in on her, but it's just like, I just feel like she does not fit in this generation of wrestlers at all. Like, I just don't see it. She fits more with the Bellas and more with Naomi and more with Paige and everything. She just doesn't fit in this generation of wrestlers for me. Like, you literally could not make me buy a ticket for a match between Natalya and Jade Cargill. You know why? Because I wouldn't want to do that. I wouldn't want to see that, because I just want to see Jade wrestle anybody else other than Natalya. I don't even know if I'm going to keep any of this rant in, but I'm just so sick of Natalya. Like, let's talk about this main event, because this, I kid you not, this was not only a way to capitalize on the online heat that Mr. Khan from AEW decided to launch at Jinder Mahal last week, but it was a really good match. Lots of really interesting things going on, and it was a pretty decent match. Jinder Mahal has the rest of Indus Sher with him, and they are obviously going to assist him ringside as well too. So straight away from the very beginning, he's getting the upper hand on Seth Rollins, but then Seth ends up throwing Jinder into the ring post and hits a really nice running knee off the apron onto, I think it was Sanga, I think. See Damian Priest come out, and obviously he's, surveying everything, making sure that if there's a cash-in moment, he will cash in. Then we go to a commercial break. After the commercial break, Seth Rollins is on the attack, and he tries to go for 3 clotheslines on Jinder Mahal, but Jinder ends up stopping him every single time. He finally gets a really nice clothesline onto Jinder. Then we end up seeing Seth Rollins hit a really nice sequence with a crossbody. He hits a couple of sentons and a really nice moonsault, followed by a Falcon Arrow as well too. Seth Rollins hits a pedigree, and I am not going to lie to you, it goes downhill from here, because he takes out Indus Sher with a crossbody, and then we see Damian Priest go in for a cash-in moment, but then Drew McIntyre comes in and they start brawling, and then Indus Sher end up helping Jinder Mahal, and he almost wins the match. But then Seth Rollins hits a pedigree, which he ends up hurting his knee with, but he comes away with a win. So it's fine. Seth Rollins is still the World Heavyweight Champion. But we're now hearing things coming out of the WWE that Seth Rollins may have a legitimate injury. Please no, not before Rumble and not before Elimination Chamber, please. I am sending my best wishes to him. I don't think he's ever going to see this video, but best wishes go out to him. I hope that he's okay, and I hope that it's not as serious of an injury as what we're thinking it is. Sending all my positive vibes out to you, my king, my good sir, my visionary. I'm sending them your way. And with that being said, that is the end of the Monday Night Raw recap. That is the end of my thoughts from this episode of Monday Night Raw. If you guys stuck around till the end of the video, thank you so much for watching. Make sure you go ahead and chuck a like on the video, and go ahead and comment something that you enjoyed about Monday Night Raw this week. If you thought that match between Jinder and Seth went the way that you thought it was going to, if you think that people are going to stop hindering Jinder, I don't know, chuck some thoughts down in the comments. I'd love to know what you guys think. While you're there, make sure you go ahead and check out the description. We've got all of our Outcasted social medias there, as well as our personal social medias, so you can keep up to date with what we're doing when we're not posting on here. Make sure you go ahead and subscribe to the channel as well, and click that bell icon so that you don't miss an upload from us, whether it's an NXT review coming in from Reese, or a SmackDown review coming in, or AEW, or a podcast, or a Raw recap. We don't want you to miss those videos, so make sure you go ahead and click that bell icon. You've got an NXT review coming in from Reese this week, as well as a podcast coming in from us as well too. Then you've got the SmackDown review and potentially an AEW review as well too. So that'll keep you guys loaded with content for the rest of the week. I'll catch you guys in the podcast. Bye guys.